Very good. If you want to come just a little closer, we're going to begin now. It's important that we start on time. And we're going to go ahead and begin now. We would like to welcome everyone to this great event, this groundbreaking event for our first project, the large project that we're kicking off for the Governor's Leading Idaho program. And so excited to have you all here today. We'd like to first welcome those here on the stand. We have Governor Brad Little, and appreciate his great efforts to help us in transportation funding and modernize the system. We have Representative Dustin Manwaring. Thank you, Representative, for being here with us today. And we have two members of the Transportation Board, Member Julie DiLorenzo and Board Member Dwight Horsch. I want to just make a comment about Dwight. This is his local area as a board member. He served 12 years on the Transportation Board. And just really appreciate the service that he's given. He served 4 terms in the Idaho legislature, and just the list of his service to Idaho is fabulous, and really want to recognize him being here today in his district. There's also a few others I really want to recognize today. Brian Bladd, Mayor of Pocatello, is here. Thank you, Mayor, for being here. And all 3 commissioners of Bannock County are here today. Ernie Moser, Ernie Moser here, Jeff Huff in the back, and Terrell Tovey. Thank you all for being here, for supporting our efforts in transportation. And of course, we can't do any of this without talented and able contractors, and we're so happy to have Sunt and Cannon joint venture here today. And so I met earlier Tiago. Tiago, are you on? There you are on this side. Okay, Tiago and Curtis Cannon. I saw Curtis. I hadn't met him, but I saw you standing over there. Thank you for being here today and for your help on these projects. Todd Hubbard is here on the stand with me. He's the district engineer for ITD. He's responsible for the 7 counties here in the southeast corner of Idaho, all the maintenance, construction, all the many things they do to keep this operating efficiently and safe. And many of his employees and people are here helping us today, and so appreciate them. So today is our first kickoff for the large Leading Idaho program. This project is amazing. It's been in the works for several years. You all know that over half of the bridges in Idaho are over 50 years old, and there's so much investment that is needed to make our transportation system continue to be viable and safe and support the economy of Idaho. And as they were looking at the bridges that needed to be replaced, the bridges on this interchange popped up and said, we have to do something with these interchanges. And that's what prompted the project planning initially. But certainly we know that there are many improvements that are needed functionally to make this work properly, and so get a brand new configuration of modernized transportation interchange that's going to serve us for 50, 60 years into the future. So it's a privilege to be here today, and I want to introduce our first speaker, our Governor of Idaho, Mr. Brad Little. Please help me welcome Governor Little.
Thank you, Scott. This morning, all the budget officers from all the states are in Boise, and I had a little visit with them this morning, and occasionally we like to brag on Idaho, and of course everybody's aware that there's a significant amount of either ARPA or infrastructure money that's available. But one of the things that I think we should all be proud, my legislative partners, the board, everybody in Idaho, is the fact that, we're appreciative that is part of our money of what the federal government's done. But what's very important, and I think is what's important to the people of Idaho, is the fact that we're doing the right thing for the right reason for the long term. Both the ARPA and the infrastructure money is for a short period of time, and it doesn't address these needs. And frankly, even before we did our largest ever transportation funding package, the board had prioritized what bridges needed to be done. I remember when I started doing transportation policy, when I was a senator, the number of bridges that were way past their not useful life, but they were to a point that they needed to be fixed. And with the recommendation of the board with the help of the legislature, we're putting in a third of our bridges. This year we'll fund a third of them. Next year we'll fund a third of them, and we'll be caught up on. Of course, every time we think we're getting caught up, it seems like we're not. But more than any other state, the state of Idaho is doing the right thing, and to me, it's the right thing to do. My predecessor taught me that unfinanced maintenance is the same as deficit spending. When we occasionally have an argument with certain people about education funding, I remember Butch saying it's just deficit spending, it just doesn't show up. And that's what I was talking to them about. But the most important thing about it is we did it without raising taxes. Or in the case of the federal government, building on the debt that our children and grandchildren are going to have to finance. And of course, to me, I always talk about our Idaho citizens. The most important commodity they have is their time. And so anything you can do, first for safety, and B, for the maintenance, but C, to add more time to the citizens of Idaho is a good thing for this generation and the next. As I said, this year we championed $200 million into ongoing maintenance for both state and local. Then we addressed the backlog of bridges, and again, I can't say this enough, we did it without raising taxes. And this interchange will obviously, Scott said it'd be 50 years. Let's build it for 60 or 70. But it also does something that we don't often do in a interchange, is that it really adds to pedestrian access, which will really be additive to this community to have that access, particularly when you have a community where the interstate runs through the middle of it. But it's our partnership, the state, with the cities, the counties, the highway districts. It's all part. You know, most people don't even care or realize when they leave a state or a county or a city funded road, we as elected leaders are responsible for all of it. And I just one more time want to thank the board, my legislative partners for doing what we're doing. And it always helps when Idaho looks good, particularly relative to everybody else. It's a great celebration. I look forward to being here when it's all done and racing around on all these new roads that I still don't understand where they're going. Somebody told me it was the right thing to do. So I'll just wait until that point in time. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor Little, and we really appreciate your support and leadership on transportation. Safety is another thing that we really need to keep in mind. We lose over 200 lives every year to safety in Idaho, and when we do modernization projects like this, we're seeing normally about a 50% improvement in safety. And that's fatalities and crashes. So it really means a lot to families and the citizens of Idaho. There's been another major transportation supporter in the legislature, and that's Dustin Manwaring. We're pleased to hear from him. And then we'll hear from our board member, Dwight Horst. So, Representative Manwaring.
Well, thank you, Director and Governor, for coming to Pocatello and board members. It really does mean a lot to us to have you come here and help us when we do a groundbreaking, and especially for a project that's important as this one, even if it's a hot August afternoon. Thank you to ITD, to Colby and Molly for giving me an invitation to make a few brief remarks. I'm really proud when I get to stand here in front of all of you in my own community and talk about something we did over in Boise. It's part of my role as a legislature to go over there and represent the community, but then come back and return and report. It's one of my favorite things, and then to come back and talk about a project is something that I'm really proud to be able to do. And it's an historic investment for our state. This interchange system is for our state, but specifically for Pocatello and Chubbuck, in this area, those people in our community that get on this interchange almost daily, if not multiple times in a day. As a representative of this district in District 29 in Pocatello, we're certainly proud of this expansion and the upgrades and the mitigation and some of that that's been spoken of already that this project will bring, and will bring it to our area for generations to come. And this is one of the most important interchanges in the state of Idaho. These are where two interstates meet together, and what we call the Flying Y, or we've called the Flying Y over the years in Pocatello. But it's really the gateway. It's the gateway here leading north to Yellowstone National Park, south to Salt Lake City, west to Boise, and onward from there in each of those locations. But it's a special spot with a lot of traffic in and out of our state and intercity between our community. And as a transportation committee member in the House, I really understand that importance of transportation funding and the crucial role that it plays in providing safety and economic opportunity to our state and our communities. We're pleased to see these resources provided by our legislature. I'm not the only one. There's 105 of us that have to get that done, and then the governor has to help prioritize. And we're excited that now we get to begin this much needed project. But let me just cover some things that I think, some other reasons I think briefly why this is so vital to our area. It allows our local residents to get where we need to go around Pocatello and Chubbuck. But it really, maybe number one, when I saw the design plans, you can see it. It eliminates some of those sudden left-hand mergers and those dangerous curves that we have, and especially dangerous in the wintertime. The one that I like and I'm excited about was mentioned by the governor briefly, but it's the new pedestrian bikeway that's going to be connected to connect the Portneuf Greenway down here to the wellness complex and beyond. That's going to be pretty awesome to get that through Pocatello Creek and over to this area. This interchange is important for business. It allows our businesses to move their goods through here. I remember not too long ago, a year or two ago, there was some conversations with one of the steel manufacturers trying to get their trucks through, and there was a problem. And this helps address those types of issues and allows our visitors coming through to visit places like Craters of the Moon, Jackson Hole, City of Rocks. They've got to get through this system. But this investment allows that commerce to thrive for years to come. We already know the outstanding work of ITD that they do with the help of their engineers and their selected contractors and sons here. And I saw Cannon, and I'm a little bit biased being a Blackfoot guy. I'm glad Cannon is here and glad to see them on this project. But there's no question about this project and the functionality that it's going to be functional, but not only that, it's going to be safe, and that design quality is going to be attractive. It's going to be something good to look, nice to look at too. These things don't happen without joint cooperation between branches of government, and that's why we're standing here today. So we have an executive and a legislature that can cooperate on these types of big budgets, especially in some of the years that we've had. We're going on another one into the next legislative session with historic budget surpluses and being able to put those things into where it matters in Idaho. Places like infrastructure and transportation projects and roads and bridges. I look forward to more of this type of legacy investment in our state as we go into the next legislative session and the proposed next fiscal year. We have more work to do. This is a big start. These $100 million checks at a time is how we get these things done. It's exciting. I'm really thrilled to be a part of this. This project truly is Leading Idaho. And I just appreciate you all coming out, even on a hot August afternoon. Thanks so much for having me.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dwight Horsch. I'm the district member on the board from this area and have been for 12 years, which has been an extreme honor for me. I look back at 12 years ago, and there had been a report given to us on the needs of Idaho Transportation. That report came out of a committee that was chaired by Governor Little about 14 years ago. Well, that report is probably totally obsolete now, but I want to especially thank Governor Little for being here and for his service to transportation for I know of, at least 14 years, because he served on that committee, and they came out with, I think it was, we were in the hole 560 million if we didn't do anything else. And that was a lot of money at the time. Doesn't seem like so much now, and considering the budgets we're running now. But when we think about this project we're about to get on, and the amount of that project, when I first got on the board 12 years ago, it was just a dream because of the amount of that project, of this project. It's just a phenomenal amount of money. And I appreciate my fellow board member, Julie DiLorenzo, being here. She represents District 3, which is Boise. And they got lots of problems. And they could use this money in a heartbeat. And Julie voted for this overpass, this interchange, without blinking. So I extremely appreciate her. I appreciate our new director for his leadership and how he has continued the dream of the previous director and added to our strategic plan of safety, mobility, and economic opportunity. He's added another column in that he wants to improve the driver's experience on our highway, and so that as you get on our highways, you don't have the fear of safety. You don't have the fear of coming up Pocatello Creek and having to go across 2 lanes of traffic on rush hour and get to Interstate 86. That fear will be gone. You don't have the fear of coming down 86 and happen to be in the right lane because you didn't know about that, and you got to be in the left lane in a half a mile to go to Idaho Falls or Blackfoot. That fear will be gone. So that type of thing, from the dream of what Governor Little came up with and his committee came up with 14 years ago when he was lieutenant governor, and he extended that as he's been governor. He's been a strong backbone for us as a board and for you as state citizens for transportation. There is nothing in your life more conservative, nothing, than keeping up your infrastructure. Keeping up the ability for people to be mobile, safe, and have economic opportunity. I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank the legislature for being here. I want to thank our district engineer. He's got 7 counties, and there's a long ways between Montpelier and Aberdeen, Idaho. I'll guarantee you that because I used to represent it in the legislature. And he's got a lot of territory to cover and a lot of staff, and he's doing a marvelous job. I want to thank him and our legislator for supporting the governor and getting this package passed. Like I say, 12 years ago, this was a dream. And when I got on the board, and it wasn't even on the State Transportation Improvement Program, what we call it STIP. It wasn't even on it. And then we extended the STIP from 5 years to 7 years, and it finally got on it. But every time the 7 years moved, it moved to 7 years because there wasn't enough money for it. The governor, with his leadership, and the legislature, with their cooperation and hard work, came out with this package, this program. It's complicated, but it works. It works wonderfully, and we've got a flush of money that we can do some things, and we are. And this is one of the things that we moved from 2028, 2029, 2030 to now. So thank you again for being here. I appreciate representing you on the board.
Thank you, Member Horsch, and also Member DiLorenzo. We sure appreciate the commitment of the board and the hard work to make these projects happen. It takes a whole team to bring projects and safety to the transportation system, and you and everyone here is part of that team, and many that are not here today. Some comments have been made about Todd and his great work and the dedication, the people that plow the snow in the winter and all the great work. But there's a few that have been really directly involved in this. Eric Statz and his team, Zach Johnson, Greg Roberts, and Aaron Baird they're just so committed and make sure these projects happen. And Amy Schroeder in the back oversees all of these projects statewide. There's an amazing army of engineers. Many are consultant contracted engineers, but the team that did this one are ITD employees, and we're so proud of them. Anyway, it's time to turn some dirt, break ground, and get this project started. Thank you all. Let's head over there and get this project moving.